Hello, ActiveSage here on the Sage channel, and as we expected from last week when Marek went and had his little blog post and told us about some of the future changes that we'll be seeing to space engineers, especially when it comes to its updates, this week's update was a little lax on new content. As just said, this was to be expected, so really there's no harm done, is there? Let's be honest, this is actually a good thing too, because there are some serious issues that have persisted in this game for quite some time, and it's a good thing they're getting around to them. And as they actually said today in their official update video, and they link back to Marek's blog post, that we'll probably be seeing more updates just with fixes, nothing at all added new. But luckily enough, we were given a few new things this week and an assortment of fixes. So really quickly, I'll show you the new things in a minute, but first I'm going to go ahead and read out those new fixes. Anyway, first one is fixed memory leaks in character, raycasts, and asteroids. So I guess there were some memory leaks there, which is, from my lax understanding of that, were basically when something's loaded into the game, it's not properly unloaded when you're no longer using it. I believe that's about how it works. And anyway, it ends up using up memory space on your computer over time the longer you play the game. Stopping leaks means it'll use up X amount of space and it won't continue eating up more. Anyway, next fix is fix small ship piston dummies. I'm assuming there was something to do with its collision or at least artificial size, where the game thinks it's one size. It looks like it might have not been, well, quite that size according to the game sometimes. Something weird is going on there, but hey, it's fixed. Next one is fixed render interpolation issues. So I'm guessing it's something to do with when stuff was moving, it was causing some issue. Not exactly sure on that one. That sounds a bit too technical for me, for sure. Anyway, moving on, we have fixed crash to desktop when pasting blueprints. So apparently when some people were pasting their blueprints, they found themselves with a crash, and hopefully that won't be happening anymore. Anyway, next one is fixed floating object size, components and or. Apparently some components were a bit too big when they were, well actually it probably just means components that can float, so ones like those. So apparently their size was a bit off, and or I suspect you drop 128 ore and it was maybe too big or too small, something of that sort. Anyway, moving on, we have fixed issue with not functional landing gears. I ran into that a few times myself, and it was just where a landing gear refused to function properly. Looks like they got that fixed, pretty cool there. Fixed missing curved conveyor glass. Bit of a mouthful there. Mouthful? Mouthful even. Anyway, that's just basically where the conveyor blocks that on large ships, they have their glass there. It was strangely enough missing on the curved piece, I guess, so they've gone ahead and fixed that, thank heavens. Next one is fixed crash when clicking on faction. That is a scary one. I never ran into that, and if you had, that's scary. Sad to hear it, but hey, now you can go ahead and click the faction without crashing, apparently. That's good to hear. Fixed issue when player can't create an asteroid map. I'm assuming that's the asteroid map default, and apparently some people were not able to create it. Now you will be able to. Fixed issue with explosions in older worlds caused by changed rotor offset. So I guess they recently might have changed rotor offsets, or older worlds didn't have a rotor offset really. So maybe loading up an older world where you had rotors that didn't have said offset would create a little issue as the rotor spurged out into itself and caused an explosion. Looks like they might have fixed that. Fixed game crash when declaring war and proposing peace. So apparently if you said declare war and propose peace at the same time, you ended up in a spot of bother. Not exactly sure how you would do the both. Maybe it was just in nearly the same time. So you say war, then peace. Might have caused a little issue apparently. Or maybe it was just you had two people on your faction at once clicking the two buttons at the same time. Anyway, next we got fixed game crash. Oh, wait, nope, same one, sorry. Final one, actually. It is fixed spotlights not illuminating the area correctly. That means that in the previous patch, when they glitched it out and you could no longer illuminate areas correctly with your spotlights, they had that little tiny dot of light. Well, now they're actually working correctly again, and rather nicely. Anyway, guys, that's it for the fixes. I'm now going to go ahead and show you actually properly in-game the new rotor that they added, the advanced rotor. It's pretty cool. I'll show you. And advanced rotor, if you were to press G, oh by the way, you'll notice my sound is slightly loud. I found recently they have introduced a glitch where audio, even though I have it set to there, you see now everything's a lot quieter. All I had to do was open that screen up and it remembered my audio values correctly, but when you load up a new world, it seems to forget them for a second until you open that up. But they have added a new thing, an advanced rotor. What the advanced rotor does, if I was to just go ahead and place one right here, as you can see, it is a normal rotor just with a big old door in the middle that you can usually access things through. Acts just like a piston sort of in that way that you can access things through it. And you see there I deleted the top of it and the bottom still there. Might be able to do the big ship, the small ship thing with that possibly. I guess we'll find out in the near future. Not fiddling around with that right now. Not exactly sure you would want to do that because the small rotor, well, actually no, you could, because on small ships you still, if I was to go ahead and demonstrate here, can actually go ahead and you see there when I place it on there, it does cause a spaz, but you can actually delete that and have just the, there, that version there. So really quickly, let me actually go ahead and do a test to see if we can still merge rotors, but with this small ship variant and the large ship variant together. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like these two wanted to merge together quite right. They seem to still be separate, I believe. Let me just give it another bump that way. Yeah, unfortunately, it seems like they haven't. Maybe somebody with a more refined bumping structure than I might be able to get it into place, but apparently right now it doesn't look like you can merge a large ship to small ship like you could with the normal rotors. Oh, wait, no, there. Did you see that? It sort of snapped. It's not snapping as we'd like, unfortunately. Well, that's a bit of a shame, but who knows? Maybe in the future that'll get added back in unless it just did it. Did it? Nope, unfortunately not. Anyway, this thing here, by the way, that you see in front of you is a piston being extended as soon as I come into this area using a sensor, and then we have the advanced rotor right here spinning about, and of course you can see all these pipes have turned to their greenish yellow, indicating that they do have through access through this whole huge column here all the way into a cargo container in there. So it is indeed working, and I can demonstrate that by simply clicking on that. And you can see I can have the connector and I have the larger cargo container, different color piece, a different ship piece, but I can indeed shift stuff from one to the other. Pretty cool, pretty nice. And of course, this does work on small ships, as I sort of demonstrated there with the showing of the small ship variant there for half a second. You can see the proper small ship variant is right here. This is what it looks like, even though I already gave you a glimpse. When you place it, of course, the second upper part shows up. It's pretty cool and pretty nice, and of course you can again delete a singular piece of it. And you can see here, once again, all the piping has changed to its correct color to indicate that it is indeed usable. And I can, of course, once again, demonstrate this simply by going through here. And you see, if we go down, we have the large cargo container there. And once again, I can click and drag to demonstrate it is indeed working all the way through this connector here. So you can now expect ships that maybe have multiple tools. Instead of needing to go ahead and drop off your tools and pick up a new set, you could have all your tools on the ship and simply you press a button and your tools spin around, and now you got the new tools facing the right way. Pretty cool stuff though. I'm really happy with this update, even though of course they didn't add much. What they did add was very, very useful, and we can expect in the future maybe to see not so much stuff added, but at least newer, more interesting or stuff in the long distant future. And in the meantime, lots of very useful good fixes, because they did say they are still working on bigger things. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope this was informative and useful, and I shall see you next time.